That was good. That was good. When it comes to those secondary, and the reason why I unpacked it the way I did was because a lot of these things are missing the bigger principles that the Bible is explaining. The Bible talks about the importance of obedience to God. You know, Jesus is like, why do you say, Lord, Lord, but do not the things which I ask of thee, or do not the things which I command? And it says, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. And it talks about that it's not grief, it's not grievous to us. It should all be because we love him. And like Jefton said, the only law that we are given as the New Testament church is to love Jesus Christ with all our hearts, mind, soul, and strength. And what that does is we fulfill the law because if we love him, we know him. Through relationship, it's not that you don't make mistakes. Through my marriage, I know that with my wife, she has certain particulars, she has certain things she likes and she dislikes. I know those things and I learn them through getting to know her more. And the more I get to know Jesus, I learn those particulars. I know what he loves and I know what he dislikes and hates, and I know what doesn't please him. And because I know that, I strive to not do those things. It's not to say that I don't do them, but I strive not to because I love him and because he loves me, and he loved me even when I was doing things. It's like this: we were already in a relationship. He was already treating me like I would, like, you know, he was my significant other, doing those things for me without me even knowing. I was ignorant. Think about, like, you ever were really nice to a girl and like you liked the girl and she had no idea you had a crush on her. She's like, this guy is just so nice, this and that. And you getting played. You like, you just doing all these things, and that person talking to your friend or talking to all these other people. You're like, you don't see that I'm the one for you. I'm doing all this. Like, I got your back. I'm helping you with your homework. I'm carrying your purse for no reason. I'm just being there. And that's what we do to Jesus a lot of times is we play him. It's like he's been there from day one, having our backs, protecting us,
Mhm.
providing, so on and so forth, even before we knew him. And when we actually get into a relationship with him, and that's why it says the law of Christ is in love, because when we love him, we understand the things that are not pleasing to him, and we understand why they're not pleasing to him, because he knows what is best for us, because he knows us better than anyone. He understands us better than
Mhm.
anyone. So because he knows what's best for us, he will begin, as we continue to grow in the love of him, he will reveal certain things. He'll reveal that, like, nah, you don't need to be smoking, or nah, you don't need to even touch the wine. Even if there is some liberty for you to do it without taking it in excess, you don't even need to touch it. You don't even need to watch that scary movie, because while you may think you're able to handle it, somewhere down in your subconscious,
Mhm.
it's going to have this effect on you. It's going, these demons are going to begin to torment. You're going to give yourself place to something you didn't even know was there. Some people have addiction that has cursed and plagued their family from generation to generation, and you thinking, oh, I'm just going to have a sip of this wine, then turns into an activation of alcoholism. Or you smoking this one, taking this one hit, turns into a full out addiction to nicotine and marijuana without you even knowing that that was in you. So there's deeper things that go into play, and it's not, and that's why it matters of wisdom. We have to look at the numbers, we have to look at statistics, we have to look at them. You may say with like abortion and things like that, we have to look at the numbers, we have to look at it on a deeper level. You may say, oh, cohabitation, the Bible doesn't talk about that explicitly, so it's a matter of me using wisdom and saying, okay, we won't sleep in the same bed, we'll have our own rooms, and we'll just, you know, live together, and that'll be it until we're married. We won't engage in sexual immorality. But the thing is, you have to look at the statistics and how 50% of marriages end in divorces, and 50%, and I don't know the exact number, but they say that couples that cohabitate before marriage, they're cutting their chances of actually getting married down tremendously, to the point where many don't even get married because of that. And so you have to look at those statistics and see that, like, okay, what's going to put myself in the best situation to have a healthy marriage? What's going to put me in the best situation to be married if I'm a woman? You think living with a guy is going to help you get married sooner? No, it actually makes it less of an incentive for the man to then propose, or for you all to make that
Mhm.
decision, so on and so forth, because it's like, I got everything I want without it. You were willing to live with me without
And,
getting
and,
married.
and we've become so thwarted. Like our like what's normal for us nowadays has become so contorted, has become so like just like distorted in a sense, because We honestly think, like, women, I'm about to put you on game a little bit real quickly before we move into our next topic. Women, I'm gonna put you on game. That man will get bored with you if you constantly giving it up to him at all times. And so my question becomes, and I'm not going to take it there because, that's not the topic at hand. But I just want to throw this out there real quick. Why would you want to give that man anything and he has not even committed to marrying you yet? Right?
Hmm.
Why would you want to do that? And vice versa, men. If she's just throwing it at you, I mean, shouldn't that tell you something like, she ain't thinking about marriage, she ain't thinking about sex, and vice versa. Like, why would we? And so that has become such the
Yeah.
the normal thing in today's society, where if you not they society has pretty much turned it around and said, if you're not doing that, you're weird,
Hmm.
because all virgins are weird, right?
Yeah.
I made a statement in Bible study recently, like there's a hoodie floating out there called Virginity Rocks. That's that's one of the most boldest statements I've ever seen in my life. And then I had to stop and think, and I say, well, that's just because the way our norm
Yep.
is nowadays, we've made it seem to where virginity is,
Oh
you're
man,
a
I got
lame if you're a
destroyed
virgin.
being a virgin
But that's not the case.
in high school. Got
Yeah.
destroyed for it, man. It was
Yeah.
it was actually so I was willing to do some reckless stuff just to not for that to not be the case, and by God's grace he protected me. Oh my goodness, I completely agree with you, Jeff. I mean, you are dropping facts. Real quick, I want to did you have something else you want to add to that before I said anything else?
Real quickly, I try to do it in 1 to 2 minutes. These secondary issues, yes, at one point when the children of Israel and when we were establishing the church in
Hmm.
olden times, I keep saying Old Testament because in olden times, when we were trying to establish the church, yes, these secondary issues meant something. But then when God kept seeing that this list was piling and piling and piling up, he was like, hold on. These folks can't adhere to every single one of these laws. These folks can't adhere to, well, should I smoke? They can't keep up with this long list of secondary issues. Yeah, they love me. Yeah, they trust me. But since they can't keep up with this long list of things that they will constantly fail to, here's how I'm going to wrap this thing up. I'm going to die for every one of your sins, and all you have to do is love me. And so
Yeah.
I hope that you all receive that message. I'm gonna let Bradley close out this topic. I hope that you all receive that message because it's so
Hmm.
prominent in today's society. We must learn that it's not in the secondary issue, it's in the first issue.
Yeah.
Because if you got the first issue right, these secondary things, they become non-existent, because you are going to be so sold out to the things of the Lord you don't even think about it.
Exactly. No, well put. I was just going to add, and I'll go a step further and say, God knew He put those things into place not because He believed in us in the sense that we could do it. No, He knew that we wouldn't be able to follow the law or all of the commandments and things to that extent. Even just the 10 Commandments was hard for folks. You think you add all this additional law on top of the 10 Commandments that they were going to be able to do that, and they can't even do the 10 Commandments. So he knew from the jump that, and the whole point of the law was to show that we needed God. Just that was the whole purpose of the law, and that was the whole. Think about it. It was only one law at first. Just don't eat from that one tree, and he put that one law in there just to show how much we need God, because just that one law was too hard for mankind to follow. So what should that tell you? That should tell us that at the end of the day, we need to love Jesus because he will reconcile us back into the place of relationship with God. And then the other last thing I was going to lead with was um, at the end of the day, if I told y'all weed was a sin, if it seems, and I'm just being real, with most people, when you tell them they can't do something, they want to do it. And that's just how the flesh works.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying things that God explicitly says we can't do, we shouldn't say we can't do. Like we should say that, we should obey the word. But on these things that are gray, if you telling me something that the Bible doesn't explicitly say is sin, then I'm probably going to be more than likely to fall into it. So that's why it's so important for us to have a good understanding of the word, and it's okay and important for us to help people to understand matters of wisdom are just that, matters of wisdom. You don't say, well, why do if they ask if something is a sin, I'm like, is this something that you're interested in doing? You ask that question, you say, well, what are your intentions on doing this? Do you feel like you can honor God and do this? Do you feel like this will take
Mhm.
away from your walk with God? And even if you don't think it could take away from your walk with God, what do you think it would take for this thing to be able to take away from your walk with God? And then
Mhm.
you ask these questions. You say, okay, well, it seems like a matter of wisdom. If you, I personally, if you want my personal take, I may not agree. I don't think you should do this because I don't think it's worth the risk, and I don't think it can add to your walk with God. But if you really feel that it can, I won't. Okay, it's nothing I can do to stop you anyway. But I'm not going to say it's sin, but it can be sin if obviously these things that you pointed out yourself were to transpire, and it's just a matter of you believe. I would tell you not to do it if you were just asking for wisdom from somebody who's lived, but I can't make you not do it, and I can't assume that you're going to be in sin if you do it. I'm just going to wish the best and pray for you, but I would advise against it.